Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm sorry for the delay. My internet and my computer was so slow that I couldn't open it. But we are here and we are going to have our last class of the week and last class of Unit 12. Okay, let me share with you the book to start and continue where we were yesterday. Okay, so yesterday we started working with the present perfect in the simple past. We have already discussed the difference between the present perfect and simple past. Remember that when we're talking about just something that you have done in your life, what we use the present perfect. Cuando hablamos sobre algo que tú has tenido la experiencia con y no estamos siendo específicos de cuándo sucedió exactamente, utilizamos el present perfect. Y cuando hablamos de algo que sí quiero ser específica de en qué momento sucedió tal cosa en el pasado, es mejor utilizar past simple. Okay, so let's go now to the language bank to continue with this grammar topic. Do you hear me well and everything?
Yes, miss.
Thank you. Okay, so continuing with the present perfect and simple past. It says in here, use the present perfect to talk about past experiences in your life. You don't say exactly when. For example, I've been to Egypt. I've seen the Great Pyramid. Use the simple past if you say when something happened. For example, I went to Egypt 3 years ago. I saw the Great Pyramid when I was there. If you notice the difference in this one, I'm just saying that I've gone. I mean that I've been there, that I have had the experience of doing or going there. And in the second one, I'm saying, I'm just being specific about when I went, in this case, 3 years ago. And I'm saying I saw the Great Pyramid when I was there because I'm talking or referring to the previous sentence I told you about. When speaking it, it's possible to start a conversation by asking in the present perfect, answering in simple past with more details. For example, have you ever been to Egypt? Yes, I have. I went there 3 years ago. Did you like it? Yes, it was great. Here, even though the question is being in present perfect, the answer, once it is answered with the yes, I have, it continues giving details using the simple past. What is the difference? Well, now let's check again the difference between the simple past. Between the present perfect and simple past. Present perfect. First of all, the structure. I have plus the past participle of the verb. I've seen the Great Pyramid. When did this happen? We don't know. Give me a minute, please. Okay, sorry. So as I was telling you, I know that it happened in the past. I know that if you use the present perfect, you are referring to the past. The thing is that we don't exactly know when. It could be 3 years ago. It could be more than once. It could be, it could be yesterday. It is not relevant when the action happened. The only relevant thing is that you have the experience of that. And in the second one, we're being specific. I went to Egypt in May 2014. So you're saying when the action happened. Okay, is it clear the difference between the present perfect and simple past?
Yes, but I have another question. What is the difference between the present perfect and past participle? Because the verb use the same form sometimes.
Oh, past passive. The difference is not necessarily about the time or about the tense. It's more about the effect you want to give. For example, I know we're not talking about the past passive, but let me write here an example using the past passive and the present perfect. For example,
No, the past participle. Participle.
The past participle?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean?
What's the difference? Because we use the same thing, the same, for example, and the verb be, the present perfect, we say been, and the past participle, we say been to.
No, it's not. Actually, we use the past participle in the present perfect. It is just part of it.
Okay. And how do you, when do you say this is present perfect and this is past participle? Depends on the sentence or what?
Past participle is not a tense. The past participle is just the what, for example, probably you're confused because you're saying, or probably you are understanding that past participle is as the simple past. I mean, it has its own structure, but not. The past participle is just a form of the verb that helps me with the present tenses, perfect tenses, or passive voice.
But it's not tense.
No, it's not a verb tense. It's just it just changes the form of the verb.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So is it clear then the difference between the present perfect and the simple past? Do you have questions about this?
No.
No? Okay, great. Let's then put it into practice. Put this into practice. Okay, here we have this email and it says, read the email and underline the correct alternatives. Then on this other side, on the exercise B says, complete the sentences using the prompts in parentheses. For example, in the email in here, if you notice, if you see, si se fijan, tengo aquí unos numeritos. Cada número tiene dos opciones, una en simple past y una en present perfect. Yo voy a leer, I'm going to read the email and decide if it's better to use present perfect or simple past, ¿ok? Van a decidir a cuál tense queda mejor dependiendo del contexto de esa oración. Por ejemplo, hagamos la primera juntos. En la primera parte dice, hi Renata, thanks for the email. Lucky you. Going to Italy next month. You asked me about Venice. Yes, I there. So this person, Simone, wants to say that she has had the experience of being or visiting Venice. So what do you think it's better to use? I've been there or I went there?
Maybe I've been there.
I've been there.
She does
I've
not
been there.
like any specific time,
Exactly.
like I was there in May or something.
Aquí no está siendo específica de cuándo sucedió y aquí vemos un punto, lo que significa que está terminando la oración y no tiene relación con ninguna otra, entonces esto es present perfect. Bueno, ahora sí me voy al siguiente ejercicio. Bueno, primero, ¿queda claro lo que van a hacer aquí entonces? Es decidir cuál de los verb tenses queda mejor con el resto del contexto del email. ¿Sí?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. If we go to this part, it says complete the sentences using the prompts in parentheses. Vamos a hacer las preguntas en present perfect con los elementos que ya tengo aquí. O sea, por ejemplo, en este caso, you and see. Entonces voy a hacer una pregunta en present perfect. Have you seen Gravity? Y la respuesta va a depender de acuerdo a la información que tengo en la oración. Por ejemplo, dice aquí, yes, I it a few months ago. Aquí estoy siendo específica cuando lo vi, por lo tanto, estoy respondiendo en simple past. ¿Está claro lo que vamos a hacer aquí también?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
For example, the next one is this last year. Maybe they need to say 2020 or a specific of that year.
No, every word that tells you when the action happened, it's with simple past.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be like with a date or with the exact year. As soon as it tells you when it occurred, it is simple past.
Okay, thank you.
Well, please work on this and tell me when you finish. Did you finish, guys?
Yes, I'm confused with read with the pronunciation.
In past participle, it is pronounced as red.
Yeah, but the present and the past,
It's read, red, red.
read, red.
Mhm.
Read.
But it's the same as spelling.
Oh, okay. Okay.
What about the rest of you guys? Did you finish? ¿Terminaron? Si nadie responde, ¿es que sí o es que no?
Yo no.
¿No? Ok. Bueno, les voy a dar 2 minutos más. A las 3 revisamos, ¿ok?
Teacher,
¿Sí?
en la número 3 es un nombre.
Lía.
Ajá.
Sí.
De niña.
Ajá. Exercise. So as I told you in the first one, we had to decide between simple past and present perfect according to the sentence of the email, right? So we went here. You asked me about Venice. Yes, I've been there. Okay. Second one, I've been there for a long weekend last year, or I went there for a long weekend last year.
I went.
I went. Very good. Next part says, it has been beautiful or it was beautiful.
I think it was.
It was, because I'm still referring to the previous sentence. Okay, I've also visited Rome, or I also visited Rome.
You missed one sentence. The number 4.
Ah, that's true. Thank you. Number 4 is I've loved all the bridges and all squares, or I loved all the bridges and all square.
Loved.
I loved, because I repeat, I'm still talking about the previous sentence, right? It's like connected. Number 5, I've also visited Rome, or I also visited Rome. Both of them have also. What do you mean? I've also visited. I've also visited Rome. We have been there in 2006, or we were there in 2006.
Where?
We were. Very good. It's busier than Venice, but I know you like all buildings and churches, so maybe you like Rome better. I've never traveled, or I never traveled in the Italian countryside.
I've never.
I've never traveled. But my friend Emily has driven or drove around the south.
Drop.
And she says it's lovely, but very hot at the time of the year. A ver, let's read it complete. I've never traveled in the Italian countryside, but my friend Emily drove around the south, and she says it's lovely, but very hot at the time of the year. Anyway, I'm sure you'll have a great time. Send me some photos. Now let's read it with the present perfect. I've never traveled in the Italian countryside, but my friend Emily has driven around the south. Has driven, because I'm saying that I've never traveled, but my friend Emily has driven. So I could say, instead of saying has driven, I can say, I've never traveled in the Italian countryside, but my friend Emily has. It's like if I said that. Okay.
So it has driven.
And then the end says, anyway, I'm sure you'll have a great time. Send me some photos. Okay, now let's go to the second exercise. And in the second exercise, as I told you before, we had to make present perfect sentences, well, questions, and then answer according to the rest of the context. So number 2, who can tell me how is the sentence in number 2?
Have you met?
Have you met?
Oh, shit.
Have you met Sarah? And the answer is yes, we last year. So
Met.
we met. We met last year. Number 3, it says Leah and go, and then to Spain. So what is the question here?
Has Leah gone to Spain?
Has Leah gone? Very good. Has Leah gone to Spain? And the answer says yes, she there last month, and she's going to stay there for a year. So
She went.
she went. Very good. Number 4 says an accident on his motorcycle. What is the question?
Has Paulo ever had an accident on his motorcycle?
Has Paulo ever had? Has Paulo ever had an accident on his motorcycle? And the answer is
Yes, he had a small accident a month ago.
yes, he had a small accident. Very good. Number 5.
My confused because have you ever? No, have you read Anna Karenina?
Have you read Anna Karenina? And the answer is yes, I
read in the college.
I read it in college. And number 6.
Have your children finished school?
Have your children finished school?
Mhm.
Yes,
They finished
they finished.
a long
Very
time
good.
ago.
They finished a long time ago. Okay, questions about this exercise, guys, that you just finished? No?
No question.
Thank you.
No.
No, maestra, yo sí.
Go ahead.
En la pregunta, ¿en qué tiempo está? Y en la respuesta está en otro tiempo.
La pregunta está en present perfect y la respuesta está en simple past.
Ok.
¿Ok? Si todas estas preguntas así en present perfect, las respuestas hubieran sido negativas, se responde con el present perfect y ya. Pero como la respuesta a todas estas preguntas fueron afirmativas, yo estoy respondiendo exactamente en el momento en que pasaron las cosas. Por ejemplo, aquí. Has Paolo ever had an accident on his motorcycle? Si la respuesta fuera no, sería no, he hasn't. Y hasta ahí. Pero como sí, y yo te estoy diciendo cuándo, por eso uso el simple past. Yes, he had a small accident a month ago. O simplemente te pudiera haber respondido con el present perfect diciéndote yes, he has. Ya está ahí. Pero no estoy dando más información, simplemente te estoy diciendo que sí. Pero repito, si tú das información de cuándo sucedió lo que sea que estás diciendo, entonces es mejor utilizar el simple past. ¿Sí?
Sí, profe, ya lo entendí.
Gracias. Ok, bueno, voy a borrar aquí y todavía nos queda una actividad. Entonces, nos queda 1 minuto y medio. La voy a terminar la sesión de una vez y regresamos, ¿ok?
Ok.